I want to know, have you ever had a day where everything feels heavier than it should? Simple decisions feel complicated to you. All of the emails that are in your inbox feel louder, and small tasks just feel enormously out of proportion. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a voice whispers, "What is wrong with me?" I want to gently ask a different question today. What if absolutely nothing is wrong with you? What if you're just carrying too much right now? Hey there, welcome back to Loose Starts and Stitches podcast. This episode continues the Enough chapter, which is our limited series exploring growth, identity, and the quiet hum of more in the modern life. This is episode 4. If you've missed the other episodes, make sure you go back and catch up on those. There's some good stuff dropped in those episodes. So far, we've talked about how enough can feel like a moving target and why we're wired to lean towards it, okay? Today, we're going to step into something many of us feel, but we don't always name, and that is capacity, okay? If you've been following along with this series, thank you so much. It means the world to me. And if something here has resonated with you, sharing it with somebody else who might need to hear it is always appreciated. All right, let's talk about what happens when capacity feels stretched. The human nervous system evolved for rhythm. We talked about that last time, about why we are wired to chase more, but our actual nervous system has evolved for rhythm, for cycles, for movement, for rest, for limited information, okay, for smaller circles. Now we live in a time of constant input, okay? Any moment in time, you can get whatever information that you need. You get notifications, you have to make decisions, you get updates on things that may or may not even apply to you, okay? There are expectations that are set that you are supposed to be able to keep up with this. There are constant opportunities being thrown into your way that are once in a lifetime, but those once in a lifetime decisions and opportunities are they really once in a lifetime? Maybe in some cases, but I want to say that none of this is inherently bad, okay? Because it's a lot, all right? But none of it is bad. There are good things that have come through all of this involvement in our society. And our nervous systems don't always distinguish between what is really, really urgent right now and what is simply just present, what's just out there, what's available, right? Everything feels like something you have to process. And most of the time, it's something you have to process right now, right? Capacity, it's not character. Capacity fluctuates. It changes with sleep, with stress, with life transitions, with emotional load, with decision volume, okay? And right now, decision volume is high, okay? Even small things in everyday life require choices, okay? What to cook, what to answer, what to click, what to respond to. These choices just accumulate on top of one another, and the accumulation can feel like fatigue. I mean, I want you to raise your hand where you are right now if you understand decision fatigue. Like, you just feel like you've hit your limit some days and it's not even 11 a.m. because you have made so many decisions that your brain just can't handle it anymore, okay? When we lift something physically heavy, our muscles shake, okay? We don't shame our arms for not being strong enough to lift that box right there, right? We understand weight. Okay, but when cognitive or emotional load feels heavy, we often tend to shame ourselves. Like, I used to be able to handle so much more, or I should be better at this. Other people seem to be able to handle all of these decisions and all of these things. And they seem fine, right? But I want to tell you that capacity is dynamic, okay? It moves, just like the targets we've been talking about. And sometimes what feels like personal failure is simply saturation. I've noticed this in my own life. There are seasons where small things feel so much louder. It's not because I've become less capable of handling them, but because I am carrying so much more on top of all the decision making, more decisions to make, more transitions to do, more input. And my instinct is usually to tighten up, to optimize, to find a better system, to pull out my calendar pages and start time blocking, okay? Like if I just organize myself, I can do this. I can figure out everything. That's my personal crutch, my go-to is I just need to organize it, okay? But sometimes the issue, it's not about inefficiency. And the fact that I know this and I still behave the way that I do, I still process things the way that I do, that should tell you that I might be really good at giving advice, but I'm not always great at taking advice. So that's kind of what diving into this whole series has been about, is I don't have everything figured out. Personally, okay? It may come as a shock. It may come as a shock. But I don't have everything figured out. Not even a little bit. And so diving into this and learning that sometimes the issue isn't inefficiency. It's just too many things and not enough hours in the day. A new planner is not going to fix that situation, okay? Sometimes what helps the most is just reducing input. It's allowing rest before you feel like you've earned it. I know, that's a hard one, right? This might be part of why creativity feels very regulating. When I sit down to quilt, the input of everything in my brain narrows. One fabric, one seam, one rhythm. The pace slows. I can only go as fast as my sewing machine will let me go, okay? The volume of things coming in that need my attention shrinks, okay? The decision tree shrinks. All of the things that I have to decide right that second, it doesn't apply when I'm sewing one fabric to the other fabric, okay? Something inside just kind of settles. Not because I have everything else solved in my life, right? But because the load is contained. And containment to our brains feels very safe. So if you've been feeling stretched really thin lately, before asking, what is wrong with me? Maybe ask, what else am I carrying right now that is making this too heavy? Okay? Is it realistic? Is it sustainable? Is it seasonal? Is it stress that has its own little season and will pass soon? Okay? Because overload doesn't automatically mean dysfunction. You need to know that. Overload does not automatically mean dysfunction. Sometimes it simply means the pace has been really high. And when we understand that, we soften. Okay? It's not a matter of I can do these 500 things today. I just need to optimize my calendar. It's a recognition of, if every one of these tasks takes an hour, these 500 things aren't going to get done in the next 24 hours. It's just not possible. And it's not a lack on my part, right? It's just the system is not going to be able to contain it. And I need to figure out how to let some of those things go. Does that make sense? Okay, hopefully this is making sense. I know it's not rocket science, but when you hear it and you realize, oh shoot, I've been asking and expecting way too much from myself that is just not even a possibility. I'm expecting myself to fly to the moon and back before dinner time. That's not going to happen, by the way. You can't do that, okay? Especially without a rocket or any tools or I don't know, NASA on your side or whatever. It's just not going to happen, okay? And it's not my fault. It's just I'm expecting too much from myself, okay? So capacity is not character. You are not defective for feeling tired in a fast-moving world. You are not broken for needing to rest in a culture that celebrates momentum. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Okay. You are allowed to grow at your own pace, but you are also allowed to decide when you feel finished. I know that that phrase rang true for a lot of people last week, and you may hear it a couple more times in this series, but you are allowed to decide when you feel finished. Okay. Not based on somebody else's standards of finish, but your standards of finish. All right. So next week, we're going to talk about the stories that we build around struggle and how meaning can either soften or intensify shame. Yeah. Until then, sit with this. Maybe you're not broken. Maybe you're just carrying a lot. All right. So I love you so much. I will see you next time on the Loose Threads and Stitches podcast. I'm Christen with icsourcequilting.com. Do me a favor, leave a 5-star review for this podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts. I really appreciate it. And let me know what you think down in the comments. I love to hear from you. I love to chat with you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you soon. Bye.